What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name's Christian. Welcome to C-Roll Productions. You guys, in this video, we're going to be doing a ranking of the Friday the 13th franchise. Now, Friday the 13th has been a part of my life for as long as I can imagine. I remember watching, the original films as a kid and being fucking terrified of Camp Crystal Lake. I've always been a big fan of Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is one of the most iconic killers when we're talking horror icon, up there with Michael Myers. Michael Myers will always be number one for me, though. Always number one for me. Nobody can take that spot. Michael Myers is at number one. But with the Friday the 13th franchise, there's been 12 films. 12 films in the Friday the 13th franchise, including Freddy vs. Jason. Yes, I do include Freddy vs. Jason because Jason is in it. It is somewhat a Friday the 13th movie, along with Jason X and Jason X. Oh my, I'll never forget. My dad was like, "Hey, you guys, we're going to see a movie." I was like, "Okay, what movie we're going to see?" Jason X. And at the time, I don't remember watching any kind of trailers when I saw Jason X. I was only a kid. I was probably in middle school when I saw that shit. And I was just like, what in the world was this movie? Who granted, yeah, man, I've read the script for, Jason X. This is where we want to take this particular character. This is the right direction. I feel like that movie should have went straight to sci-fi. I can't even believe that Jason X got a theatrical release date. It's mind-blowing to me that somebody would want to finance that movie. And it did get financed. It's so crazy to me. And what's so iconic about Jason Voorhees and Camp Crystal Lake was the people that play him. Kane Hodder has played him throughout the majority of the franchise, and he's fucking killed it. He's brought his own style, his own breathing technique to Jason. I mean, you can tell it's a Kane Hodder film when he's does the huge old heavy breathing. It's so iconic. Kane Hodder really just embodies the role of being Jason Voorhees. You know what I mean? Just like what's his name? Oh my God, who plays Michael? He played him in the original. He did some scenes in Halloween 2018. Something Castle. I can't believe Nick Castle. Yes, Nick Castle. He did a couple of stand-in scenes for Michael Myers in the new Halloween 18, and he's going to be returning for Halloween Kills. But yeah, man, he's just so iconic. Kane Hodder is awesome, and he even did the whole motion capture performance for the Friday the 13th video game, which is pretty badass. That's all the behind the scenes, and he was like, the full mocap suit doing all the killings and stuff like that, and it was just so damn bizarre. And Friday the 13th is just, all in all, I won't say that, that the entire franchise is the greatest franchise. It's not the greatest horror movie franchise. It's quite cheesy, to be honest with you. I literally just did a rewatch like this past week and a half, and I enjoyed myself watching the movies. Because I enjoy for what they bring. They're a product of their time. They really are. So in this video, I really put together, my ranking of the top 12 movies of Friday the 13th. I had the whole 8-movie Blu-ray collection. I have Jason Goes to Hell on DVD, but I don't have my DVDs out right now. They're in my storage. But those are all my Blu-rays behind me. And then I have these babies. The remake Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Then you have Freddy vs. Jason. But let's break it down. Let's get into it. All right. Starting at number 12. Jason X is number 12. Out of my ranking, because we all know how terrible Jason X was. I mean, Jason in space, a futuristic movie, just didn't make any kind of sense. It was just a cash grab, and obviously they didn't grab much cash, and we can all agree with that. Coming at number 11, Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. I put A New Beginning on number 11 because Jason wasn't even in the fucking movie. He was an imposter in the film. Somebody else trying to portray Jason, and I was just like, what? Okay. It made no kind of sense. I was like, and you have the whole Tommy Jarvis thing. You have three different actors who played Tommy Jarvis in this franchise. It's just kind of funny to me. But yeah, it was just ridiculousness. And that little black kid in a little red jumpsuit screaming like a little bitch. This entire movie was So priceless and hilarious. Then you had, oh my God, I forgot the name. The dude's name, the black guy with the Jerry curl. Oh my God, he played Joanna Man. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Joanna Man. He was also in Return of the Living Dead. Literally, I'm pretty sure he played the same character in Return of the Living Dead and A New Beginning. But it's so funny, man. His character, A New Beginning is a big joke. It really is. And then coming at number 10, you have Jason Goes to Hell, where they take body switching to a whole new level. Jason is some kind of entity, some kind of demon, some leech that comes out of his mouth and just transfers his soul into, you know, other people's bodies. It was so outrageous and ridiculous. I actually really enjoyed the beginning of the movie where he gets blown up, and that whole scene of like where, you know, the undercover cop is in that cabin and she's alone. It's just terrifying. It's like, first and foremost, why the hell are you out there? I'd be so damn scared. She's out there alone or whatnot, and you know, she's trying to set up Jason to get him in this whole big old trap, and his ass gets blown to pieces, and that fucking doctor eats his heart. It's just ridiculous. I did like the way he looked in Jason Goes to Hell. I really did. I liked how his mask was so sunken into his face. I thought he was pretty damn scary. And of course, Kane Hodder played him in that movie as well. But yeah, I enjoyed the way he looked. I liked how like the old hair was coming out. He just looked aged and wary. I enjoyed that aspect of Jason Goes to Hell. But Jason Goes to Hell is at number 10, you guys. Then I have, at number 9, you have Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Takes Manhattan. Ridiculous. This is the film when I discovered Jason can teleport. And I don't know why. And I don't know why or how they put that into the movie. Made no sense. No sense at all. He was teleporting places when they're on the boat, and he was trying to go after that one dude, and the one guy was fucking climbing up the whole, you know, telephone line or whatever, and all of a sudden Jason was right behind him and threw his ass off. Or when the teacher, the principal or whatnot, him and Jason were literally in the alleyway. He runs into the building, and then gets thrown out of the building by Jason. I was like, first and foremost, we never saw Jason running after you. How the hell was Jason in the building? It made no kind of sense. No kind of sense. And my favorite part in that movie was he was walking the streets of Manhattan, you know what I mean? And you got those fools listen to that, you know, they're beatboxing. He just comes by and just kicks that shit. And he's like, "You dead meat, scumbag." He just lifts up his mask and lifts it down, and they go running. Such a great scene. Yes, I have, so Jason Takes Manhattan is number 9. Number 8, we have Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood, where we have Jean Grey from the X-Men with the mutant ability of the telepath, and she can control shit. That movie. Also, I did really like Jason's look in that movie as well. I thought, you know, his whole zombified look was damn killer. The face and everything, how the mask was partially ripped or broken off. I thought it was pretty decent. And, you know, New Blood isn't all that bad. I will have to admit, New Blood isn't all that bad. That's why it's ranked number 8 on my list. Number 7, you have the original Friday the 13th. Yes, the original. Man, why isn't the original number 1? I mean, this is one that started the franchise. Because the original doesn't hold up. I'm sorry. I've seen it probably 80 times. Just rewatched it. Doesn't hold up. It just doesn't hold up, you guys. And I respect what it did. It started the franchise. I get it. But it doesn't hold up as a good film. It doesn't. I had to put it at number 7 because I'm like, it's the OG film. I get it. But all in all, with the whole, you know, of course, Mrs. Voorhees is the original killer. Jason to show up to the sequels with the whole Scream nod. It just comes at number 7 for me. It really does. And then number 6, you have Freddy vs. Jason. I thought Freddy vs. Jason was a real fun movie at the time. I was like, holy shit, we're actually getting 2 horror icons who are crossing over in a world that's never been done before. Other than, I believe, Demonic Toys and Puppet Master. I think it was Demonic Toys and Puppet Master. But I was like, this is so iconic. It was fun. I mean, they got Robert Englund to come back as Freddy, and it was Pizza Chef. I didn't like how Jason looked. He was too big. He reminded me of Frankenstein. Just the way he walked and like, you know what I mean? And swipe, kill, swipe. Like, his Jason was so boring to me. I don't know I forgot the actor who played him, which is very boring Jason. Kind of upset that Kane Hodder didn't get the opportunity to star along Robert Englund, you know, in a Freddy vs. Jason movie where, you know, Jason and Robert Englund I mean, Robert Englund and, Kane Hodder are known for playing these iconic horror characters, you know what I mean, behind the mask. So it's kind of disappointing. Number 5, you have Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Tommy Jarvis is back. He escaped the whole mental asylum, and he's trying to finish the job off, but brings his ass back to life by a damn lightning bolt. It's just so silly. But I particularly enjoyed, Jason Lives. I thought it was a fun movie. I did like the way Jason killed in that movie. His kills were kind of outrageous. Although I feel like there was 2 people who played Jason in this movie. I feel like there was a scene where he's killing those freaking losers who were playing, the paintball in, in the forest and whatnot. And he's kind of chubby in that scene. And I'm like, well, was there a stand-in? Am I missing something? I feel like he was hella chubby. He looked chubby in one of these certain scenes. And I was like, maybe they got 2 people to play him during that movie. But yes, Jason Lives comes in at number 5. And then at number 4, you have the remake. I believe it was in 2000. And oh my God, I forgot the date. Let's see. I'm gonna have to pull it out. When was this movie made? Oh my God, dude. 2000 and was it 11? No, it wasn't 2000. 2009 or 8. It's one of those dates, man. I actually enjoyed that. That first beginning scheme, that scene was terrifying. Terrifying. Like when he started knocking all those people off, and of course he had the bag over his head with the the one eye. I enjoyed this Jason a lot. I put him up there with just playing just one film. I mean, he did a fantastic job at portraying Jason. I thought the whole storyline was unique. You know what I mean? It was a complete remake on the character. You got to see a glimpse of how Mrs. Voorhees was killed. Her head was chopped off at the beginning of the movie. Then he picks up the head. If you saw the uncut version, I thought it was good, man. I really enjoyed Friday the 13th, the remake. I thought it was a decent remake out of all the remakes of the horror franchises. I thought it was decent. Up there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel. I thought that was a fantastic remake as well. And then we go into number 3, Friday the 13th Part 2. Friday the 13th Part 2 is where they introduced the idea of Jason Voorhees, and that really started the franchise after that. I thought Part 2 was a pretty good movie. It was scary because he had that hacky sack bag over his head, and having that whole sack over his head is so terrifying and scary. You guys have no clue. It adds a level of suspense, unlike the original hockey mask does, because the whole the whole bag over his head is just terrifying. It really is. Then at number 2, you have Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, Part 3, I felt like was terrifying. That was like when Jason had the first mask. You know what I mean? He wore the mask for the first time, and that shit was just scary. Was it Part 2? Part 3? No, it was Part 3 where she was telling the whole reminiscent story of how somebody attacked her when she was alone in the woods, and that was Jason. Like, that shit was scary. Like, you got to see his face for the first time, without the whole mask. I mean, you saw a glimpse of his face in Part 2 when the mask was off or whatnot, but he still kind of did look human. He had hair, facial hair, whatnot. He did kind of look human. But in Part 3, you know what I mean, you got to see him take the whole mask off and shit like that. And then at that one particular scene at the end of the movie, where he legit, she's on the boat and she looks up into the cabinet and you see him like that shit was terrifying to me. Still one of the most scariest scenes in the franchise. And then of course you have number 1, you have Friday the 13th Final Chapter. I thought Final Chapter is the best Friday the 13th movie. Hands down. It's just the most enjoyable one for me. You know what I mean? With Corey Feldman? No, Corey Haim. Corey Feldman. I always forget those 2 names mixed up because, you know what I mean, they were so iconic in the 90s. Those 2 actors from The Lost Boys, they were just so iconic. To have him play, a young version of Tommy Jarvis is fantastic. But man, I definitely put Final Chapter at number 1 for me. That's my favorite Friday the 13th movie, where you just machete through the head at the end of the movie. Jason falls on it. He's like, oh, it's just so damn good, so iconic. But post your comments down below, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. What are your rankings of the Friday the 13th franchise, 1 through 12, best to worst? Please post your comments down below, and thank you for taking time here today for watching CO Productions. Peace.
We out.